The aim of this practice and what I'd like to explore with you is establishing a collaborative dialogue with your body. So, how do we do that? Well, first we need to listen to the body. And of all the things your awareness, your point of focus can observe in any moment, it's infinite. And every moment is presenting new information. So, the external world, what we can perceive with light and sound, and then the internal world, what we can perceive with our proprioceptors. And of course, there's more sensory equipment available. But of all the things we can perceive in any moment, we are practicing bringing our awareness to the body, sensation in the body, and not images about the body or yourself in the mirror or ideas about the body, but actually the sensation in the here and now. So we've got awareness on sensation, and then we're being aware of how those things are interacting. So when you bring your point of focus to the body, how do you respond to that? Or what is that mood? What is that dialogue like between those things? Is it enthusiastic? Is it curious? Are you overwhelmed? Is there fear? Like what is it like? And we can look at some analogies to explore like what different types of interactions, what the outcome of different types of interactions with the body are. The first one being interfacing with the system. So if you're going to go learn to use some new tool, like a new appliance, or you are joining a new company and you need to learn to interface with their systems, or you're a software engineer and you have this new code base you're looking at, whatever it might be, you're a child and you're playing with a new toy, and you might approach it and go like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm excited to learn about this thing. I'm very curious. Right? Or maybe you're like, oh man, I'm kind of overwhelmed. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to learn this. Or maybe you're fearful. You're like, I hope if I break this, like, things are going to get really screwed up. There's so many different ways you can approach. There's different types of interactions you can have with the information of that system or the system itself. Of all those ways, which ones do you think are going to give you the most amount of information, and how are you going to learn about that system the best? Okay, so that's where we get into like the quality of interaction. Then we can look at like what is the structure of that information that the system is presenting. So the system being the body. We look at a baby who's first learning to move, and the babies do incredible things, right? They go from just being like, I don't even know what I am. I don't even know the difference between me and the rest of the world. Like, I'm just this consciousness now inhabited in this human body, to being able to crawl and then walk and then run and then do all the things that you're doing right now, right? It's pretty remarkable. No one's teaching them through language or concepts. There's no like learning to move school for little babies. Um, so what is the structure of the information the baby is using to learn all these things? And that is sensation. That is the sensory experience. The baby is so engaged in that, and just not judging what it's experiencing, not assessing it, not coming to conclusions as to is this information good or bad or useful or not useful, or should it be this way or not be this way, because it can't. It doesn't have access to that. And the most important thing to the baby is to learn to mobilize the body. So paying attention to that language of the body, which is sensation. And that sounds easy enough. All this sounds easy enough. But I think in my experience and some other people's experiences, living in a world where we're so kind of obsessed with abstractions and symbols, and we use language, which is an abstraction and super useful tool. And lots of the technology we use has images and like clear categories of this is the right or the wrong way to interact with this thing, and this is like the output that's true or not. We kind of aren't used to dialoguing with the body. And then also we don't need to use the body as much as we used to have to use it, right? We have so much technology that can bring food to us, and ways we can interact with other humans that don't require ambulating, walking a lot. We can hop into a car, we can order food to our house, right? These are all just a few of the reasons why, and there's less importance placed on the body being able to move, right? You can do a lot of your work just by interfacing with the machine and having very specific motions. If you're at a computer, like, it doesn't take that much. So there's just as less importance placed on paying attention to that information. But if you're like an athlete or a dancer, or just a person practicing some sort of movement skill in the body, that's how you learn it. Is you bring your awareness to get the feel of it. Like, you're ultimately getting the feel of it. Maybe you observe someone, but you can't take a class that's purely theoretical to learn about this. So how do we practice this? And how we practice this like very subtle thing of just, okay, I'm paying attention to my body and I'm aware of the mood, and the quality of interaction that dialogue is. And well, one, we just dive in and we practice it. We just go straight into it, and we use, if you're working with a coach, right? Like when I work with a coach, the coach is just bringing my awareness back to the body, and also bringing my, like, creating cues of, hey, like what's the quality of mind like? Sense yourself compassionately, sense yourself mindfully. Can you be curious? Can you not assess, right? So we can use the help of language and cues. We can use theory to support our interest in the body. So we can look at anatomy of the body and get a different perspective on the body. That's one that we have from the outside, and build curiosity. We can look at evolutionary biology. We can look at physiology. We can look at the way the body works and build curiosity in that way. And then even then, like in my personal experience, sometimes that's not enough for me to want to practice sensing myself, even though, like, I know it's important. It's my job. It's my career. I think it's very important. I still find it challenging sometimes to practice. So what helps, maybe because we're mammals and we like to do what the other animals like us are doing, is having community to practice with, and having these experiences of sensing the body and taking that information and going like, oh wow, that was interesting, like that feels useful, I feel different now, and being able to express that and have someone hear that, right? And this gets into like co-regulation theory, regulating the central nervous system through co-regulation. It's like having a need expressed and then seeing that need heard from someone else, which is actually what we're doing with ourselves when we do this, right? The body is asking for attention. The body is saying, I have these needs. And then the consciousness, the awareness is going, okay, I'm listening. And that in itself, being heard, creates self-regulation. And that is, in a nutshell, the practice that we're doing here.